So our second talk is from Steve Martin. Steve's an Agile coach, an Obeya consultant, and an ICA Agile trainer.
Yep, instructor.
Yes, so Steve's talk tonight is Obeya Unleashed, the next evolutionary step in Agile.
Yep.
So let's give Steve a warm Agile Yorkshire welcome as well.
Thank you. All right, so how many times, let's say how often per week, do you sit in a meeting and you think, this could have been an email? How often? 5, 10 times in hours? Good stuff. Okay, my name's Steve Martin, as Lauren says. I've worked with major organisations, corporations, government departments, central government, basically helping them with agile transformation. Not always very easily, comes with its own challenges. Anybody worked in central government before? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So the problem that we have right now, so Agile has been around for over 25 years now. And we're kind of settled in the product development space, right? We're very much kind of consistent in how we work. We kind of know what we're doing. Although we have problems that go on all over the place, there's challenges everywhere, they still exist. But in terms of Agile maturity, it's fair to say that we kind of know it, right? What we need to now really focus on is communication and how we communicate in the organisation across all the different departmental areas, product teams going up to senior management and executive management. And what we find is that we are compensating for lack of knowledge, lack of understanding by having excessive meetings and excessive reporting, okay? So, and it's got a lot worse since we actually had the pandemic and everybody's at home. We've lost visualization on what's going on. So what happens is we have more meetings take place, on a back-to-back basis. How many people can say that they are on back-to-back meetings today? Yeah, it happens, right? You kind of feel like you're chasing your tail. You don't get a chance to have a cup of tea or break, So it becomes a bit of an issue. I'm going to give you some stats and show you just what impact the way that we communicate is having on our lives, essentially. 83%. They did a survey. Loads of different people did a survey. A survey was conducted, to use the better English. So 83%. That was the percentage that employees spend a third of their time in meetings, right? 83%. 50% is the average number of meetings that are considered wasteful. So for every 2 hours that you spend in a meeting, 1 hour is just complete waste, right? 31 hours is the average time spent in unproductive meetings per month, okay? Is this resonating? Is this feeling about right to you? Yeah. 7.8. Anybody care to have a guess of what that is? It's the number of days lost per year per employee due to work-related ill health, stress, anxiety, and being overwhelmed, okay? Now, if we're in back-to-back meetings and we are constantly trying to chase our tail, anybody have kids? Anybody have kids here? How many people spend time after they put the kids to bed, young kids? I have an almost 18-year-old, so I don't have to do that anymore. But how many people here can say that after they put the kids to bed, they go back to work? Yeah, for the young kids, yeah. So 7.8 days lost per year. 70% report feeling swamped by fragmented or ineffective communication methods. 70%. So what's the cost to the global economy? Who wants to hazard a guess what the cost? Billions? Yeah? Anybody got any idea of what the cost is to the global economy of the amount of days lost due to burnout, essentially? People burning out. It's $1.25 trillion every year due to burnout. Just burnout alone. I couldn't say what it was before the pandemic, but it's exponential now. It's huge, right? So that's a loss to the global economy. So what's it costing your organization? Right? How much do you think is lost? How many days per year? I mean, it's 7.8. Does that sound about right to the amount of people that we have working here? Does that sound about right? I'll tell you a little story about Freshcart. Freshcart are actually the second biggest global retail supermarket in the world. The second biggest. They've had market share. They've had about 30% market share for the best part of the last 25 years. They're huge. They're a massive, massive company. Anybody ever heard of them? No, you wouldn't have them. But they are in dire trouble. So their market share is declining. Their burnout is at an all-time high. They have excessive meetings, but no clear direction, no clear decision making. They've missed delivery targets. Amandeep, you wouldn't be happy about that, would you? No. And they have huge staff turnover. I must apologise for this icon. I couldn't actually find one that represented staff in the best way. And they've got those just stick men like that. Looked as though it was a toilet. So actually, but high staff turnover is pretty bad, right? Now, the problem that Freshcart have, we did some root cause analysis on the company, and we realized that actually there were three major factors that were happening, that were causing those major challenges. One of them was meetings overload, excessive meetings. The other was a bureaucracy of reporting. It was excessive, okay? So it was very much based on lack of communication that was going on. That was what we found. And also, there was a real culture of micromanagement, a lack of autonomy, essentially a lack of trust, okay? So the teams on the ground were constantly having to report up the chain so that the people at the top were able to get the information that they needed, okay? So that's what we realized with Freshcart. So we're going to do a little exercise, and I need some volunteers, okay? So everybody in this room, apart from the volunteers, are going to represent a consultancy, the consultancy that's been brought in to actually solve this problem. Okay, so remember they've lost market share, they've got huge staff turnover, they've got they've got some really big problems that are going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and solve this problem today. Okay, we need to understand what's really going on and understand what the need states are, because the thing is, what we don't realize, I mean, we do realize a bit, but the problem that we've got is that middle management and people like directorship level and executive level, they need information to go up the next level, right? We need to be able to provide information, but we need to be able to overhaul it. So what we need to do is we need to understand what the need states are of the people that we're reporting to, so that we can help them give the information in a much better way. Okay, so we need to understand what's the purpose, right? Just like when we're doing requirements gathering. Any business analysts in the room or product managers? Yeah, it's a similar type of exercise. We need to understand what their needs are so that we can help them, okay? So I need 6 volunteers. Who would like to be a volunteer? Lauren,
I was asked yesterday.
do a bit of bribery. If you be a volunteer, you get a free book. Come on. Yeah, come on, come along. 3. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Right, I'm gonna let you be head of technology because you're an engineer. You're a very good Scrum Master already, so you will know. You can be portfolio director. You are, I'll take that off. You are product owner. You can be product director, and you can be technical lead.
Oh no.
Okay. If you want to just give them a couple of seconds just to absorb. So if you want to introduce yourselves. So we have...
Emma Clark.
So you're Emma. Okay. Yeah. So Emma, you get a...
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you. Who's Julia?
I'm Julia,
So Julia is
Portfolio Director.
portfolio director. Okay, and we've got Sarah.
That's me.
Sarah is Scrum Master. And we've got Tom.
Yeah, I'm Tom Edwards.
You're Tom, your product owner. And we've got
Mark.
Mark. I forgot you, Mark. What's your
Mark Thompson, technical lead.
technical lead? Right. So if you just go through, and we've got
Chloe, obviously.
yeah. You make a good Chloe. Look at this. So you're Chloe. You are
Chloe Williams, head of technology.
head of tech. Okay. Okay. What we're going to do. So if you just take a moment just to sort of gather your thoughts and understand your role. What we have here is we have a rich group. We have our stakeholders in the room, and we can ask them whatever we like because we want to understand what their need states are. Okay, we need to understand what they need from us for us to be able to help them. Okay, so we've got Tom, product owner. We have the portfolio director, Julia. We have Sarah, Scrum Master. We have Mark, who's the technical lead. We have Chloe, who's the head of tech. Wonderful, lovely looking Chloe. And we have even more gorgeous Emma, product director. So each of these individuals here represent a different area of the portfolio team, okay? And they all have needs. They all have needs for information that we need to be able to help them gather in a much more effective way. Because remember, the problem that we had was that there was a meetings overload, bureaucracy, excessive bureaucracy, and also micromanagement. We need to overhaul that. We need to change that for them. So we're all consultants today. So to help you, because I'm good like that, I've devised a few questions that you can actually help tease out. Who would like a question to ask of our team? You can have a question, being a business analyst. Of course, you'd like a question. Anybody else want a question? Okay, you can. Yeah, anybody else want a question?
Get grilled by Alex now.
There was an evil cackle
There
there.
was. I'm coming for you.
Who would like to? Question for you. You can ask one. So, who would like to ask some questions? Away you go. Who would like to go first?
I've got a question for Chloe. Please go ahead.
What would help your team balance innovation with operational stability?
Innovation with
Operational stability.
I don't know. No. Innovation. Yeah. So.
You might find out on your blue ticket.
Yeah. No. I think it's having that visibility, right? That clear visibility, so that everyone understands what's going on, right? So we need to know everything that's going on. Everyone needs to know what we're doing, because if no one knows what we're doing, then how can we do that thing, right? So we need to be collaborative. We need to collaborate with the rest of the business so we can really have a clear view of what it is we want to do.
Thank you. Okay, next question.
Got a question for Mark. What would help reduce firefighting and last-minute escalations?
Right, I'm just gonna.
Again, on your blue ticket.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. So clear priorities and visibility and improving the systems, or at least review them.
As we're getting the answers, start thinking about just what these kind of needs are so that we can then report back afterwards. Okay. Has anybody got a question for Julia?
What do you need to ensure high-level visibility across the entire portfolio?
I'm assertive and analytical. Just cut my foot. I need real-time information that's clearly visible and transparent. And I want the right people in the right room to have the right information. And I prefer data-driven decisions, but, we'll see what you can offer me.
Hardball. She's playing hardball, right? We've all had a stakeholder like.
I back this view on clear visibility.
Okay. What about Tom? Anyone got a question for Tom?
I do. What do you need to prioritise work effectively across multiple teams?
I really want a simple process. There's too many people asking so many things. I want to make sure that what people are asking for has got value. If customers are saying they want this, that, and the other. So I've got to look at the backlog items. I've got to prioritise them, and I've got to say, okay, what's important? What's of high value? There's got to be some prioritisation. So a simple way of getting this information, a simple way of prioritising them in the product backlog, a clear communication. So I like new changes, but we've got to also look at what's priority. So a simple way of ordering the backlog items, that's what I want.
So are we starting to get this? We need something that's simple. We need something that is in real time. Okay, we need a solution that's going to help us collaborate better. Okay. What about Sarah? Has anyone got a question for Sarah?
I've got a question for Sarah. What would help you to make leadership more engaged in enabling agility?
Well, I'm all about the people. So showcasing the wins and the collective responsibility of the team, but also a clear and robust escalation system.
Right. Okay. So we're getting a real understanding of the needs at team level as well. We need a good escalation system because our leaders, we talked about micromanaging and that real lack of autonomy. Actually, what we need to have is there's two words I want to really nail here, is collective responsibility. Okay. So everybody here in this room, these are stakeholders, have a collective responsibility and a shared goal to really overhaul how they communicate. Okay. And that means that not just the product director, portfolio director, head of tech, scrum master, everyone has a collective responsibility to make that happen. And so having an escalation system is all about enabling that. Because if we have a clear and precise, a good system for escalating things that are blocking us and getting in the way, then we can then have responsibility to make it happen and clear the path so that the teams can maneuver with greater pace, right? So that's essentially what we're really looking for here. Have we done everybody? Has everybody been?
Emma.
Emma.
I've gone for Julia actually. So what do you need to make strategic decision making faster and more effective?
Well, I need strategic alignment across all of our initiatives. I want to make sure there is visibility at senior leadership level. And without chaos if possible.
Okay, good. Mark that down, without chaos. Okay, so we don't need chaos, but good visibility. Emma, has anyone got a question for Emma?
Yeah, so what would help you scale product delivery without compromising quality?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to echo everything my team said so far. We need better clarity over the process flow. We need ways to have those real-time engagements and insights to see what is going on a regular basis and have that clear visibility without people giving me regular status updates.
Okay, all right. We've got one more.
What do you need to ensure product decisions are made with the right insights?
Oh, product decisions are the right insights. Again, it's going to be the same sort of thing. We need to have that continual flow. We need to make sure we can see it across the board. I want to make sure any changes we make aren't going to disrupt what we're doing so far.
Okay, excellent. All right, we'll give a round of applause for our volunteers, our stakeholders. Now, if you just stay there for just a moment, what I would like to do is just to give you a bit of an understanding, because we've gathered your requirements. We understand where we're at. Does anybody have any thoughts or takeaways from what we've just heard?
Sounds like you need some really good delivery managers.
maybe that's part of it. That might be out of scope. I'm watching you.
Yeah. I am wondering why they need such detailed and real-time information.
Oh, okay. Would anybody like to answer the question there?
I'll take that question. Yeah, we're trying to run a real large organisation. We've got lots of key decisions to make. We need to know what's going on across our business so we can make the right calls.
Yeah, so as real time as we can make it is going to be really helpful in terms of a strategic manoeuvre for the company. Okay, anybody else got any questions or thoughts? You know, just maybe some insights there that you've gathered.
Visibility's been mentioned a lot. Obviously, they might not be able to answer this question, but what is creating that lack of visibility is something that I'd want to drill down more into. Is it a lack of tooling or lack of collaboration between the management layer and the teams?
Yeah, so I can take this one because I've done a lot of research on your company. And actually, the lack of visibility is literally due to there just being multiple different tools that they use. There's no consistency. There's no the amount of meetings that go on don't actually provide the right information at the right time. So it just becomes really inconsistent and actually not very much in real time either. Yeah.
It sounds like there might be, well, I don't know, that there might be some sort of federated model going on that's not working. So it needs to become a little bit centralised first, become mature in being centralised, and then go into federation afterwards.
Okay, that's again out of scope. We're going to take that. We're going to take that one, and maybe for phase 2 of our transformation here is a possibility. Okay, thank you very much. If you'd like to just sit down, and we're going to go through. Thank you very much. Give them a round of applause. So our fresh cart stakeholders gave us some real insight into what the needs were of their business, so that we can then look and see, actually, it isn't just about solving a problem, it's really understanding what is the need there, so that we can provide it in a much more effective, much more efficient way. And so I'd love to introduce you to the wonderful future that is Obeya. So has anybody heard of Obeya before tonight's talk?
Heard of it, I don't know what it means.
Okay, well, in the definition, it's a Japanese word, it means big room. And it actually originated from Toyota. Just like in Kanban, you've heard of Kanban, right? So Obeya is the evolutionary step for the Toyota production system. And actually what it is it's essentially providing a real visual aid, but also a dynamic way of the right people being in the room, virtually or physically, ideally physically, being able to solve problems and make decisions in real time, so that the director level, executive level, team level, everybody is aligned on what's going on. Now, the real focus is on signals. Okay, so that the Obeya will have a room full of information. And what you're doing, you're actually bringing the information to make it live and visible. and it will have loads of signals that will enable us to make those decisions. And there are two lights that we look at. One is red and one is green. There's no amber, because amber is kind of ambiguity, right? It's a sort of it's a softer way of saying it's a bit crap or something's going wrong, right? But actually, we're saying it's either on track or it isn't. If it's on track, fine, we don't need to worry about it. If it's red, we need to have collective responsibility to get it fixed. And so then we look at what sort of things do we need to do to get it fixed? And those nuances of it, like we look at, let's say it's an impediment. So we have an epic, and on our Obeya wall, we have the portfolio, which is all of our different epics in a roadmap visual. And one of them is a red, okay? So the onus is then to actually look at how do we turn it into a green. All right, so we have those key conversations. Now, who can tell me, when you're in a progress or status update meeting, how many of you actually sit there and wait your turn, those who are providing the status update, and once you've given your update, you can then move over to something else? Hands up, come on, be honest. It happens. Everybody does it, right? Everybody does it. Unless the focus is on you, the spotlight is on you, you don't really need to be focusing and listening. Now, the key with Obeya is that everybody in the room has collective responsibility. We're looking and listening and paying attention. Because the key to this is, the reason why we're not focusing and actually being present in the moment is because we are so bogged down with so many meetings that we don't have time to sit there and focus and pay attention. What if I was to tell you that in an Obeya, you're probably going to need about an hour a week, more or less, maybe 2 hours every 2 weeks? How does that sound? Yeah? And I mean like stripping out all of the other just reports that you have to spend time doing. We actually helped implement Obeya at Tesco. And I spoke with one of the business analysts there, and she spent 2 days of preparing a report for the executive team to help them understand what was going on. 2 days every month she would spend doing that. 2 days every month. And I asked her, I said, what do they actually do with it? And she said, I don't know. No idea. So portfolio updates, help me out here. What other reports that go on? What other meetings, status update meetings, all the sorts of noise that go on. And we just literally don't have time to spend focused on our peers, on all the other different teams that are in the room. Okay? So the Obeya is actually 1 hour or 2 hours every week, 1 hour a week. And what we're doing is we're focusing in on the pain, the problems, and we're all looking at how we can fix them, and we're sharing the responsibility. And we're pairing up, okay, when we need to fix that, let's go and fix it. We need to take an action. So there are 5 walls. First wall is a portfolio wall, I mentioned that. So we've got our roadmap on the wall. So we go through and we look at exactly whereabouts we are, what's red, what's green. The greens are good, and we look at also, we celebrate success. So we celebrate the small wins, right? We actually get to to even the small nuggets of delivery or whatever it is, we celebrate success. So the reds we focus in on the portfolio wall. Then we have an improvements wall. So we're always looking to see how we can improve as a department or as an organization. And we are similar to a retrospective, but it's an area for us to just look at process, look at all sorts of different things. There's a performance wall. So anybody use OKRs? I know that you were looking at doing OKRs before. So our performance wall is not just about product performance, sales. It's about operational performance as well. So we want to see exactly how the systems are running within our organization. And that needs to be live and visible so that we can actually help improve it. So if we see that the team is going off track or is actually slowing down, what do we need to do to help them? This isn't about us chastising them or putting it up against other teams and having a competition. This is about us ensuring that we're building each other's teams up to the same level. So that's performance wall. Then you have an impediments wall. So we have an escalation system. And the Obeya ceremony is for us to bring our impediments and raise them. And this isn't like, I don't know if you have escalation systems in your organization, but it isn't about waiting a week to the Obeya session and then raising it. If it's urgent, raise it and let's get it sorted. But it's there for us to be able to solve problems in, and again, take ownership and have accountability. So if you're coming back the week later and your ticket is still up on the wall, even though you're the portfolio director, you can still be held accountable by the rest of the group, the Obeya, because this is what you promised to everybody that you're going to get fixed. Okay, so you've got clear actions that need to take place. And then there is the, sorry, you have a question?
So can I ask, so is it that the red items are in the impediments wall and the greens are all on the performance wall?
No, so you have signals, so they have like dots. You'd use a dot or another way just to be able to signal. So your portfolio wall would have reds and greens on it, but it highlights the reds and what action needs to be taken. We have that discussion. But you'd have impediments that would be reds generally anyway. Yeah. And performance as well. If things are going off track in terms of performance or targets, then you would put your red dot on there, that particular target. And then we'd look at what do we need to improve, what actions need to be taken. So good question. Thank you for asking that. So the sorts of people that need to be in the room are the people that need to be in the room. Okay, that's basically it. So we're not having lots and lots of different, every man and his dog. If anybody works in central government, someone put their hand up before, then you'll know that you'll be on a call and 50 other people on the call, and you're like, like one person in the whole team is involved. Actually, the key players are, we call them the three amigos. Do you guys use three amigos? So it's the three amigos in every single team, and then the senior level. So your tech leads, portfolio managers, product leads, head of product, that kind of thing. Yeah, business analysts. So business analysts are really good for helping with performance data and being able to analyze and that kind of thing. But the key about Obeya is it's like just enough. You talked about just in time before. Just enough people in the room to make decisions, and it makes sure that for your team, your product team, not all three need to be attending every single Obeya. As long as you have good communication linked together, you don't need to make sure that you go every single session, but we want to make sure that the right people are in the room, essentially. Yeah. So Obeya. So essentially it's faster decisions, alignment without micromanagement. Okay, so there's real clarity on what's going on. There's good communication because we're understanding exactly what's happening. We can see the portfolio or we can see epics and what's going on with our roadmaps and whether we're on track or not. So we've got good alignment and understanding. Problems don't get buried, so we're surfacing things. We've got a system and good accountability. And then time back for actual work. So no putting the kids to bed and then going on with work. This is actually spending real time doing proper hands-on work that you're there to do, right? And not spending your time in meetings. Hands up if that doesn't sound very good to you guys. Hands up if that sounds like something that you could really buy into. Yeah. Okay. And the key here, and this is why I think it's really important that we understand the needs of our program directors and product directors and things, is that there's a fear sets in when you try and change something, that people think that you're going to take something away. You know, I spent kind of 10 years in consultancy. I kind of know when, you know, that kind of fear builds up, like, you know, you sort of mention something like a shiny new object, and they're like, you know, there's a real resistance can build up there, and it isn't a resistance of not wanting to buy into it. It's more out of fear that you're going to take something away. And what we're saying here is we're not taking anything away. So you want a question?
How would you stop people who attend from saying, can you put all of these outcomes and outputs and decisions into a slide deck?
Well, that's why you have an Obeya coach in the room to call it out.
They should be able to take on their own actions, right, without it having to be documented in a slide deck.
Yes, yeah, there are no slide decks. Yeah, I mean, what's the big problem about a slide deck?
No one reads it.
No one reads it. It's out of date as soon as you've written it, right? Just like a printed report or whatever. Do people print reports anymore? I don't think they do, but you know what I mean. But yeah, essentially there are no slide decks. The Obeya room is live. It's not. It doesn't get closed. When you've got, if you've got an electronic, there are Obeya tools. There's the iObeya, Miro. We use Miro at Tesco's, and actually it stays live. It's a live system. So just like Jira, but Jira, it's a bit of a mess. I mean, it is. It is. We know engineers, don't we? We know. Yeah. But a physical room is a physical room. It doesn't get changed. It needs tweaking and adjusting, and we need to keep it updated ongoing. So at any one point, people can go into the Obeya room and see where we're at. We don't need to wait for the ceremony. The ceremony is just there, or the event is just there for us to collaborate and communicate with each other. But the Obeya room is live. It's always live. That's the key to it. But yeah, so nothing is lost. We don't take it. We're not taking anything away. Okay, the key is that we're actually giving back time, as it were, but we're making things much more effective, as it were. We're providing information and communication in a much more streamlined and much more effective manner. That's the whole premise behind Obeya. So as I mentioned, 5 walls: performance, portfolio, improvements, impediments, and action. Okay, so they sit on in this big room, 5 walls, lots of post-it notes, lots of paper. Yeah, it's good. There's certain templates that you can use. How am I doing for time?
Got about 20 minutes.
Oh, right, okay, fine. So key participants only, no unnecessary attendees, and then live decision making. Okay, so we're deciding in the moment. Has anybody heard of the Saab fighter jet story? Anyone heard that story? I mean, I'm digressing a little bit here. Saab fight. This is an escalation. They did all sorts of things, but this is a real test about how change can really happen. So at 7:30 in the morning, the engineering teams gather. Teams on the ground. They gather. This is the teams that are building the actual Saab fighter jet. Gripen, I think it's called. 7:30 in the morning, they all gather for their daily stand-up. At 7:45, the next layer of management gather for their daily stand-up, and all the impediments from the 7:30 session go to the management meeting. 7:45. By 10:30, I don't know how many. I mean, you can tell there's a lot of layers of management. By 10:30 in the morning, all impediments are cleared for the day. All right. So it just goes to show you that actually it's possible, right? People have the resistance and a bit like, oh, I don't think it can work here. This is like an engineering organization building a fighter jet. It can work, right? It can happen. So the idea is that we're gathering in this place to really solve problems and make decisions in real time. It's not relying on someone preparing a slide deck for a whole week and then us gathering and being on back-to-back meetings and then just getting lost in the whole noise and crowded space of it all. And that's the sort of thing that burns us out, because the cognitive load is just insane, right? And then key signals indicate where to focus. Now, red is not ugly, okay? Red is not a dirty word. We shouldn't be resistant or fearful of raising a red issue. If we're off track, that's everybody's problem, okay? It's everybody's problem to fix, not just my problem or my team's problem. It's everybody's. So we have collective responsibility to actually solve that and get it back on track, okay? So red is good. We praise red, raise the reds, don't hide them. We need to be able to get clarity and understanding of exactly what's going on and not hide it because we're fearful of being chastised and being told, actually that's not, we can't be telling the CXO that we're going off track here. No, we need to solve it, we need to fix it. So here's an Obeya. Here's an Obeya room. So as you can see, lots of walls, lots of information, but there's action and clarity. And because people are physically in the room, the energy is really vibrant. Now, it's not always possible. I know we've got, we're dealing with like, we're in a globalized place. Like we have organizations that will have teams all over the world. It's not ideal. It's got a lot worse since the pandemic. For like that 6-month period when everyone was in lockdown, the recruitment drive was like, well, we can actually get people from the United States and all different continents. And then when we all come back to the office, like, oh, how do we then build connectivity with all these people? So that became another challenge, right? But physically in the room is actually the ideal. We want to build it. Isn't it really nice to have people sitting here and coming to networking and having a real, actually collaborating and listening and whatever. So ideally, we've got to be people in the room. But as I say, there are good tools that we can use, and let's try and recreate what we can get in a physical space. Try and recreate that energy and that vibe in a physical space or in a digital space. So a couple of stats for you. So these are organizations that have actually adopted Obeya. Siemens, 25% increase in project delivery speed. Toyota, 50% lead time reduction. Panasonic, 25% reduction in time to market. Philips, 15 to 25% reduction. Lego, 25% improved delivery. Nike, 15% increased project success. Volvo, 15% reduction in project costs. So it works, right? It works. It's very much in its infant stage in terms of actually becoming the thing. Agile, as I say, has been around for quite a long time, and we're all really familiar with it. But I can guarantee that Obeya is actually going to be the next big thing, because it is so powerful. It's super powerful if we can actually get people in the room making decisions and talking and actually being collaborative and reducing the burden of cognitive load that we have and the amount of meetings and reporting that go on, and actually have them in such a nice, contained, short period of time that we can actually get things happening and then we can focus on the things that really matter. So key takeaways that I'd like you to take with you. One is the clear signals with action focus. Okay, so the Obeya is all about the information that is presented to you on the wall that actually tells us what we need to know, so that we can take action. Okay, so we can actually make it happen, make decisions, and clear the path. Collective ownership I've mentioned. Okay, so it's not about us and them. It's not about engineering versus the business. It's a collective responsibility. It's not about the different layers of management. It's collective responsibility. And finally, continuous improvement. The improvement wall is actually one of the most important facets of the Obeya room. Is the fact that we're always looking to improve. How do we improve as an organization? How do we help our teams improve and get better and make that utopia of becoming a high-performing team, as you mentioned before. Yeah. So how effective are your business communications? You can scan the QR code and you can take a quiz and find out just how effective or ineffective business communications are for you. It's kind of like an Obeya reality quiz. And just to see where you're at, and you receive a report, it will tell you, it'll give you some outcomes and some recommendations of what you can do today. But fundamentally, the answer is go Obeya. Okay. All right, thank you very much.